finally, this is the first video on a very short series of my Murray updates. This will be number 1. I am going to show you how to replace both cylinder heads, install and gap properly spark plugs. You can skip through if you wish. I'm not so as you can see over here, I have my new used heads and I have my new gaskets. Briggs & Stratton, I believe, are trying to get rid of these engines, so I could not find. Only one cylinder head was available. I do not know which one was available and which one wasn't, but all I know is one was not. So I went to my trusted dealer and he gave me some used heads. So what you will need to do the 3 things I said, which is to install spark plugs, properly install them and the cylinder heads, and to gap them. You will need a torque wrench. I have 2 because one is for higher torque. Real quick, the size for these spark plugs, which is usually the same spark plugs for like a 5-horse or push mower engine like that one, is a 13/16 socket. And you want the long one or else the short one won't grip. So I am going to be first doing the right side cylinder head, and you can tell by if you're replacing the heads right here, you'll have an L. Okay, you have mod 64 or 46, which is also on here, has a number on the bottom, but this one does not. And if you match it up with the old ones, this is the left one. And also, if you stand at towards the back panel, with the back panel facing you, or the magneto. The magneto is on the right side. So for this, you will need your 1/2-inch socket, your wrench, your torque wrench, maybe your WD-40, and your cylinder head and gasket. I left those out, but you will need the gasket whether or not you are replacing the head or not. Oh, and your manual. Quick tip, if your vehicle or mower does not have these or they are worn out, I suggest getting some generic or brand new ones. They are treads. They increase my grip dramatically. I put 2 strips on each side. You can just see them right there. And they are amazing. So, to do this job, first step is to remove the old head. Or remove the head if you are not replacing the head. You'll need your wrench and your 1/2-inch socket. Now, it's suggested to remove a head or do a star setup when you're loosening the bolts. Loosen this one, this one, this one, this one, that, and whatnot. But don't do it in a circle or else you might crack the head. If you want to keep the head, I am not keeping my head. I am not keeping the cylinder head, or this one. I am replacing it. So I do not care, but I'm still just going to do that to have this one, because this one is still usable, so I'm going to keep it as a backup, kind of. So I'm going to remove those real quick. So now that you have tightened or loosened them, broken them free from their sitting bond, if you lubricate them, then you may not need lubrication. If it is very old, you can if it is very old and they are sticky bolts, then you will have to do it wrench, but fingering can be faster. Now, some older engines of Briggs use different sized bolts for different slots, and it's very simple to tell which bolt goes where if you mix up the bolts. The 3 bolts surrounding the exhaust valves, usually on older engines, are longer than the rest. That's all. The rest are all the same with each other. I do not believe my engine is that old. It's a 99, so as you can see, I have all 9 bolts and they are all equal lengths. So you don't have to worry about that. Now, if your cover pops off, or if the head pops off as you're removing them, that's okay. If it doesn't, you can gently pull it, which mine didn't take much, or you could have either tapped it you gently tapped it with your wrench, or you could have used a rubber mallet. Now, this gasket is still usable, but I'm replacing it. And the head I am also replaced, or will be replaced. And if you compare, the head I got actually has about the same carbon. I'm surprised. But there's that. Now, I want to check something. Now, if you look, so a quick tip, you can cheat easily. All you need is a special adapter to hook your socket, or a socket to an electric drill. This one is low on battery, but you can easily punch them all in. Now, after you have finger tightened them, do not really tighten them down, unless you do not have a torque wrench. If you don't have a torque wrench, I really can't help you, because I just wing it all the time. But now I have a torque wrench, so I'm going to do it properly. So if you look in your manual, in the reassembly section, has a diagram here showing which gasket. I am working on number 1, because we have one gasket that has this flat area, and that's the flat area, and then we have the non, and that's what we have here on. So it shows the sequence of which you're supposed to torque them in. And it says to do in 40-pound increments up to 160 inch-pounds. And then there are the newtons or whatever, I forget. So, let's do that real quick. Sorry for putting this video a little bit long, but I'm going to have to cut this one in half, or to 2 parts. Mainly because the first bolt I went to tighten snapped before I even got it to 40 pounds on the torque wrench. So I'm going to junk all of the rest of the bolts and get a whole new set of bolts. All of them. Brand spanking new. Because I do not want to take the risk of having to bore out the cylinder that much. That's just, no thank you. Luckily I was able to, well, my dad helped me do this, but we were able to get a screwdriver in there and turn it out and turn it and pull it out. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe. I'd like to know what you think. Anything I can do to improve my videos. Yeah, thanks for watching.